Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. Hello, Julie. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Seems like Lee's getting into all sorts of things in season two.
She
You
is.
know, she's like a mini cop here without giving any spoilers. What more can you say as to what to expect from Lee?
Um, I think in the first season you see her very compromised and very unsure of her decisions. And I think in the second season, she kind of leans into what she wants. And, as you said, like it's in career, she starts to lean in more and she starts to, I see a confidence and I see passion in in what she wanted to originally do because she was in Yale. And that's what and now she's in that space again. And relationship wise, I think, you also see her growth. She's like trying to be the driving force between the three, between Isaac and Billy.
I think that when you get a second season for you as an actor, you get more confidence in playing a role, and the writers get more confidence to see where they can explore the character. Sometimes with the first season, you don't know where it's going to go. It's all about introducing characters, yada yada. But then when we get to season two, now you can play with. So like, do you see yourself growing as well as the character?
I do. I do. I think all of this is like school. It's all a learning experience. I don't think I'm ever going to be on a day on set where I'm going to be like, yeah, I got this one figured out. I don't know that that's in the cards for me. I think I every time, even if it's the same project, new season, a new scene, I feel like I'm growing with my characters and then they inform me so much as well.
Mhm. The thing about a small town like this, like the series, that everybody knows each other's business. And like you said, at least coming out from Yale, she has to come back home where it's almost like Cheers. Everybody knows your name. Everybody knows what's up.
Mhm.
Like people don't have to be nearby. So when the parents come, so when the Alex's character parents come in, like they already know what the deal is without having to say anything.
Yeah.
So how was it working with this cast so that way we can see the dynamic and chemistry between the characters you're dealing with?
It's intense. Working with other people in the cast that know your business and scenes like in the first season where Grace calls me out because she can do that because she's known me since I was a child. And we have that scene where she's like, this is not how you used to be, you know? It's intimidating, it's annoying, but it's also part of, it's somehow like a dysfunctional family. I would say, it's a little dysfunctional, but like we're very comfortable with each other because you grew up together.
Is there any flaws into Lee? I always think, listen, nobody's goody two shoes.
No,
Nobody's perfect.
no.
As the show goes on, there's always a flaw in the character.
Mhm.
That it's like hopefully it will stay the same or be rectified as
Mhm.
episodes go on. Are we going to see any flaws in Lee?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna see a lot of flaws and a lot of characters, but yeah, Inly,
You
yeah,
know,
she's never been goody two shoes to begin with. We started the first season with with her cheating on her husband, so I think
yeah.
pick this off.
That was like quickly. Next, we move on. We
Yeah,
move.
it just the thing about the show is it can't have those crazy scandals but it is humanity. We are holding up a mirror to humanity. Things like this happen. They're not uncommon. And what makes a good person, I think everyone all these characters are at some point good people. They do make bad choices though. And it's kind of like that question again of like, how far are you willing to go for the people that you love? Morally, what are you going to cross? So it questions a lot. It makes people think and hopefully relate in the good ways.
And that's the key word you use, humanity. As far as, do we veer to the left or the right? And which side is it? Is it good or bad or flawed or indifferent? And it's up to us and the writers to decide where do we want to take these characters. So for
Yeah.
you, obviously, when you're not doing the show, how do you stay humble?
How do I stay humble? I work out, I do therapy, I hang out with my friends and family, my nieces. I watch movies. I'm already I feel like I'm a homebody. So I'm at home watching movies and walking my dog. I think those are like the little things. The
Hmm.
little things.
Well, it's good to have a season two on a new home because that shows confidence from everyone involved. There's more to the story and more to the series that they have yet to tell. So congratulations on coming back. Obviously, we'll look to see where the show takes us, and hopefully, we'll talk again season three.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Wilson Morales from Black from TV. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
We're back from season two. I always wonder, we get everything we need to know from your characters, because I always think there's more there's a good side, there's a bad side. So Mark, what do we get in this season?
I think you get a deeper insight into Virgil Poe's character and his relationship with Billy. And I'm so happy to have explored that because there is a deep well there. It's a complicated relationship, and Virgil has a lot of ground to make up for his son. So in some respects, I think this is a Virgil redemption story. At least that's the way I look at it. And that was a really exciting thing to act.
Alex, your character's coming back from obviously a traumatic experience. He seems like he wants to be left alone, but still in town, still want to get along with some folks. What are we getting from your character this season?
Yeah, I think we're getting a fresh start and a fresh slate for Billy. And I think he wants to, at the beginning, he's really trying to make amends and take care of his mother and take care of the people that showed him love and reconnect with Lee. And then I think as the season goes on, we see that he has these past traumatic events that have happened that start taking over his life and become uncontrollable. And as his recovery with his body gets stronger, his mental side kind of starts deteriorating. And that was really interesting to play. And I think Virgil steps up and really starts to show his fatherly love in his own unique way.
When it comes to Virgil, he's nice to his son, but with everybody else, you just don't know. You're like, are we supposed to root for this guy? Mark?
Yeah, I mean he's definitely a character who wears his flaws pretty openly on his sleeve. So, um, but he also wears his passion, and I think you see his love for his son, and I think that it will make you get behind Virgil and what he does, even if the way he tries to help his son may not be the way other dads would help their son.
When you're in a small town, everybody seems to know each other, the good, the bad. They've seen it all. Do you guys come from small towns where everybody knows each other's business, or is it better off to be in a big city and be lost? Alex?
I grew up I grew up in Kansas City, so it's not a super small city, but where I lived, everybody knew each other. All the neighbors knew everyone's gossip, and I think that's the difference is, in the small towns, everybody knows what's going on, and there's that familiarity where you can just walk into someone's house without announcement. And in a big city, you don't really do that. So I think it shows a different comfortability that people have with each other in small towns, and the lack of filter they have, which I think the show really emphasizes.
Yeah,
What about you, Mark? Are you from a small town?
I know I grew up in the culture capital of the world, Van Nuys, California, which technically isn't a small town, and it's just outside of Los Angeles. It's still in the Los Angeles basin. So I don't know what it's like to live with that kind of intimacy with your neighbors, but it's really cool to explore it in the imaginary world of Buell.
From what I've seen so far, obviously both of your characters are displaying so many emotions, layers in terms of getting to know your characters. Each of you have done other work before, but when you work on a series like this, is there any part of of your skill set as an actor that's been improving as you do more episodes moving forward?
Oh yeah, I think the more work you do, the better you get because you're practicing, and when you're practicing with people like Alex, and Moira, you're working with people who are at the top of their game, and they're going to make you better.
What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think what I always felt working with Mark was a looseness on set that I think really helped me, and that's something that sometimes I get tense, and I think bringing that energy and playfulness was something super helpful. And yeah, I can't agree more with the more work you do, the better you get, you know.
The thing about the show is that there's confidence in the show, which is why I moved to another place, which is great because sometimes when you get one season, people just lose interest because they want to know if a show's going to come back, now I can get invested in these characters. Now I can care. So congratulations on coming back. Let's hope we can get more out of this. Let's see where the story goes. We'll talk down the road.
Thanks, Wilson.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hello, folks. How's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing, Listen?
Good. Obviously, we're back for season 2, where both of your characters seems to be wanting to do what's right, you know. But I always think there's more to your characters than what we see early on. What are we getting from your characters this season, Luna?
Well, this is my character's first season, which is really exciting. And she joins up with she's working with Dell. She's his partner in this season, and there's a lot to uncover. Very little of which I can tell you about, but I can tell you it's pretty suspenseful and will keep you on the edge of your seat, surprisingly.
That's what I meant. You're like, when we see your characters, they look like they want to do right, for what's going on early on, but then we see more layers to their characters, which leads you to believe otherwise. Rob, what can you add?
Well, I think this season you actually get a look into the personal life of Steve Park, and so you get to know him outside of his police station a bit better.
I always think when solving a case is like an albatross for any detective or cop, it's like it's the bone they just keep wanting to chew till it's over with. When you take on these roles like this, you play different characters. Do you try to get into the mindset of the character you're playing or the occupation, so that when you see people who do these things normally in real life, you have an understanding to what they do? Either or.
Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say it's really a little bit of both. You try to personalize it, but definitely as far as the profession that you're trying to portray goes, like how do you behave and what are the things you actually do when you like enter a room, like where are you looking, like those sort of things are that's the kind of work that I've done on characters, just what they do for a living, so that you don't have to think about it, you just kind of do it.
Luna, obviously, you're no stranger to playing a cop. We followed your career for a long time. So it's like getting back to the saddle in a different role.
And it's interesting, right? There's so many different places you can be in law enforcement, right? And so it was interesting going back to playing a detective and a very different type of detective role. And it's really great. I'm surrounded by wonderful people. Working with Jeff has been really terrific. And there's something about the pace of this show that just lends itself to just everything unfolding, the character development, the story, all of that just has this really wonderful pace that you can really sort of sit in and breathe in. And that's something that's unfortunately rare, I think, in TV. So it's great.
And Rob, I saw your last series that you did with Kiefer, and then obviously with Luna, you've both of you have worked a long time, but when you work on a series, anything new project, is there anything you're still picking up as actors, skill set wise, moving forward to whatever project you do next?
Yeah, all the time. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like I want to work so that I could practice. And then the best thing is, like, I feel like I've been really lucky to work with such a great group of people with all the projects. So I always enjoy it. It's always the actors and the directors and the creative people that you work with and the material that you can really dive into. So yeah, it's always evolving for me. I'm trying to figure it out still. So
I love what you said so much, Rob. I want to work so I can practice. And I think there's really something in that. It's the discovery. And if you're living truthfully under imaginary circumstances, you're always going to discover new things. Like it's a new day, every scene. And if you're working with really great people, even if you're not, quite frankly, if you're just open to learn, it's incredible.
Well, both folks, it's obviously a pleasure to see you guys back again on the screen, big or small. So keep it up. We're here to support. I'll talk to you guys down the road.
Thank
Take
you.
care.